What's up, guys? Harley and Zach here again for Better on the MMA. Here to break down this weekend's UFC Fight Night card. UFC uh, 71 Fight Night, I believe. Oh, man. Uh, Solid card from top to bottom, man. Really fun fights. Got some new blood on the card. Got some veterans mixed in. Uh, really fun fight card to break down. Looking forward to getting getting into it with you guys today, man. All we ask once again is that you like the video, subscribe up to the YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and MMA once again at Dead On and MMA to get um, our extra parlays and any bonus features we might have. Follow us on there to get, and we'll have you covered with everything. Um, with that being said, what you got before we start on this? Zach, what you got?
Yeah, guys, all we ask is that we're not asking for no money. All we asking is that you subscribe to our channel. And man, we're giving y'all content damn near every day, whether it's picks, early prediction, recaps, fights to make. We're on it, man. That's why we call it Bet on It MMA. You know what I mean? But a good fight night. The last couple fight nights were a little lackluster, but they got some really good fights on this card. And we're gonna get right into it with the first one, Carlson Harris facing off with Jared Goodwin. This one got announced either today or yesterday. I know Harris was supposed to face off with Nurmagomedov. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. Harris had a full camp. Gooden used to be in the UFC, went 1-3 in the UFC, had a finish, lost 3 fights by decision. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Harris on this just based on that, he has a full camp. Up until the Shavkat loss, he looked pretty good. And yeah, I just think this is kind of obvious right here.
Yeah, like you said, Harris has had the full camp. He's looked good in the past. His opponent's taking this fight on short notice, really short notice. So yeah, so I like the pick in Harris, man. Really looking forward to seeing what both guys can do. Like like you said, his opponent taking it on short notice. I think both guys can uh can have some moments, but I think Harris, being in camp, being ready to go, I think that'll ultimately be the biggest factor in this fight and helping him getting the job done in this.
Yes, sir. So moving up the card, we have Tyson Nam facing off with Bruno Silva.
Yeah, man. Tyson and Bruno Silva, really really close fight right here. I expect a striking heavy matchup. Both guys are fun to watch. I see both guys having their moments on the feet. But I gotta go with Nam by KO. He's more the power puncher. He's got more power. Silva hasn't fought in almost 2 years, so I think he'll have some ring rust there. Um, I, I think I think if you look back on Silva's previous fights, I think he could be a little more technical um, in the striking department. But like I said, Silva being out for a while, Nam fought and beat some good opposition. If I'm not mistaken, he KO'd Ode Osborne. Um, we saw what Ode Osborne did a few weeks ago against a really gamed and tough Charles Johnson. He's able to beat Charles Johnson, so that's a good win for Nam to have it under his belt. And like I said, Silva hasn't fought in over 2 years. Um, do I think he has a chance in this fight? Absolutely, but I just see Nam catching him and ultimately getting a finish in this.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, and in this pick, this is one of my least confident picks based upon Silva can take it to the ground. He's good at being on the back. And Nam, I mean, real OGs know who Nam is. He beat one of the Bellator champs way back in the day, had a lot of hype behind him, got signed to World Series of Fighting. He's just been around the block, you know what I'm saying? Most of his fights were at 35. He's fighting at 25 now. Seems to find a home at that. But with that being said, man, Nam has good striking. He's not known to be a wrestler. He's really just known to knock you out or stuff the takedown. Can take a shot as well. Bruno Silva, up and down UFC career, but he's on a win streak and he has been out. but he is the younger fighter and the better grappler. So it's really just a striker versus grappler matchup.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Nam, but it really won't surprise me if Bruno Silva gets, a decision win on this one.
yeah, man. Before we move on, I want to point this out too. Like for this card as a whole, you can hear us talk about a lot of fights and say who can establish their game plan first. Whoever can establish their game plan first is gonna win. That sounds so cliche. I know we say that a lot, but it's gonna be that's gonna be the case for a lot of these fights. Like Zach said, a striker versus grappler matchup right here. So this is another example. Whoever can establish their game plan, uh, it's gonna get it done. So really tough fight to pick, but we both sided with Nam and his power.
No doubt, no doubt. Moving up the card, we have Tony Gravely facing off with Victor Henry.
Man, it's another tough fight to call, man. But I'm gonna go with Victor Henry by decision. I think he'll be in a little bit better shape and a busier fighter. I think he could have his will on his feet, and I'll strike Gravely. I think um, Gravely could have some success in his striking, but I think he needs to get to the ground if he wants to win, which wouldn't surprise me. Tony's a fun fighter. He brings it all. Every time he fights, he comes to fight. So I mean, if Gravely were to pull off the win, it wouldn't surprise me. But I just think Victor Henry will be in a little bit better shape. Like I said, I see him putting the pressure on Gravely, and and outstriking him, and I see that being the biggest difference in this fight for Henry. But another close fight could go either way. What you got on this one, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean more towards Gravely. I think Gravely just poses more threats, especially standing up. He does have more power than Henry. Henry is more known of a kicker, and he's not really known to knock people out. Gravely, used to be just a wrestler, and now, he has some knockouts on his resume. And when you're a wrestler, you can kind of dictate where the fight's gonna go if you want to take it down, if you want to keep it up. And Henry is scrappy, but I just feel like he's outmatched in the wrestling department. And I feel like the wrestling, whether Gravely hurts him, and Henry tries to take him down, Gravely keep it standing. And if Gravely does start getting losing in the stand-up department, he'll be able to get it to the ground. So I just look at Gravely more ways to win right here. And with Henry, it's so hard to know which one you're gonna get. Are you gonna get the one that beat Ronnie Barcelos, or are you gonna get the guy who lost to a 39-year-old Raphael Assunção? That's the biggest play on here. We really don't know how good Victor Henry is in the UFC.
Yeah, and I can see that too. Like you said, Gravely is a good wrestler, and he's had some knockouts recently. So I mean, I'm not riding him off at all on my feet. I just I think if Victor if Henry can apply some smart pressure, keep the pressure on him, I think that'll be his biggest advantage. But he's got to get Gravely on the back foot early. If not, Gravely will be able to mix it up, possibly mix in some takedowns, and make it difficult for Henry. So we'll see. Another interesting matchup right here, man.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the way to beat Gravely, I mean, you gotta Gravely does fade in the third round, so if Henry can put that pressure on, then he can
Yeah.
definitely win. All right,
Mm-hmm.
JJ Aldrich facing off with Ariane Lipski. Who we got on this fight?
Yeah, man. I gotta go with JJ Aldrich by decision. To me, she's the more well-rounded fighter. Um, I see her having her win in this fight, and we're really winning a one-sided decision. I think Lipski's best bet is to get her to the ground and look for herself if she wants to win. But JJ's got a good ground game as well. I just see. I like to look for ways for both fighters to land a victory, and we do these breakdowns. So that's why I said, if in my opinion, if Lipski wants to win, like I said, she's got to get to the ground, look for a sub. But even if she does get to the ground, JJ is solid on the ground as well. So um, I think, like I said, I think it'll be a one-sided victory for JJ. But who knows? Uh, maybe let's get it to the ground and cause some problems. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, Aldrich, man, she's I want to say she's 7-3 in the UFC, man. She came off the Ultimate Fighter, and like I don't think a lot of people expected her to have this career that she's having in the UFC, man. She's definitely overperforming. Uh, and yeah, even her last fight with what's her name? Erin Blanchfield, man. She looked good
Yeah,
up
she
until the
did.
loss. She was stuffing takedowns and landing good strikes. With Lipski, she came in as a kickboxer, came in as KSW champ. But she doesn't really have power as a kickboxer. She does have subs off her, like, weird subs like knee bars and stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily call her a ground fighter. She's gonna look to keep the fight standing up, and I feel like Aldrich is the more well-rounded fighter, and
Me
I
too.
think Aldrich's IQ will, kick in and eventually get the fight to the ground and pounder, stuff like that. And yeah, I see JJ Aldrich definitely as a lock.
Yeah, same here.
All right, moving up the card, Mario Bautista facing off with Guido Cannetti.
Uh, in this one, man, I see Mario Bautista put tons of pressure on Cannetti, constantly coming forward and getting the finish. Plus, another big thing to look at when you look at this fight, man. Uh, Cannetti's in his 40s, and Batista's been on the road, still in his prime. Um, Batista wasn't one of four of his last five. And who was his last loss to? I'm trying to think. Do you remember
Uh,
off the top of your head who Batista's
yeah,
last loss was?
Trevin Jones.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at that fight, he lost that fight to Trevor Jones, but he was having his moments. So even in that fight, I mean, he wasn't doing bad. So really, Batista's been on the road. In his last fight, he outclassed.
Kellner.
He outclassed. Was that?
You talking about the fight with Brian Kellner?
Yeah.
Yep.
Um. So he's looked wet. He's looked good. And Canetti's just like I said, he's older. He's on the back half of his career. Batista's on his way up, and I see after this fight, man, if Batista can get the win, I see him uh facing a little tougher opposition, and I think the UFC will test him to really see what he can do after he gets this fight.
Yeah, man, this is definitely the UFC building up a young guy in Batista.
Yeah,
And I mean, dude, the MMA lab, that's where he trains at. You got very good guys coming out of there. You got Kyler Phillips, O'Malley, Batista, really good camp for 35ers. And Cannetti, man, I mean, his last two wins, nobody really thought he was gonna get that done. But, his last two wins were against guys who aren't even in the UFC anymore. This is an extremely big step up for him, especially at 43 years old. There's a reason that Batista is the biggest favorite on this card, and definitely expect him to get the job done and probably get a top 15 opponent after this.
absolutely, 100%.
No doubt. All right. Next, we have SD Dumas taking on Josh Freeman.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to get into this. But like I said on my quick picks episode that dropped today, um, like I said on that episode, man, when I touched on this fight a little bit, Sedriques Dumas is a guy that you guys might not be familiar with, but Zach and I have gotten a chance to watch him fight live in person multiple times. Really fun fight to watch. Good athlete, comes forward, comes to fight. Um, he's an entertaining fighter, man. Um, with that being said, I got to go with Sedriques Dumas by KO. Uh, he's a really good athlete, super explosive. I see him catching Fremd. I see him catching Fremd. Fremd does have some UFC experience, but he is 0-2 in the UFC. I think Fremd needs to shoot for some takedowns and get it to the ground uh, if he wants to win. Like I said, Sedriques Dumas and this matchup for me is just too explosive for Fremd, and he doesn't want to play that striking game with Sedriques Dumas. So, like I said, I see Sedriques catching her. If Fremd wants to pull off an upset in this one, he's got to get it to the ground. If not, I see Sedriques catching him and getting uh, this fight over with pretty early.
Yeah, man, I definitely got Dumas. Almost had him as a lock. The only reason I don't have him as a lock because in Josh's fights outside the UFC, he did use wrestling. He did wrestle, in high school and stuff like that. So he does have wrestling in his back pocket. And with a guy like Dumas, he's so early into his career, and we haven't really seen him really get tested when it comes to that, where there's a guy just trying to grind him out for 3 rounds on his back. So I definitely see a path to victory for
Mm-hmm.
Josh. Like I said, it is with wrestling, and that's the only reason I don't have him as a lock. Other than that, man, you look at a guy like Dumas, who is a striker and just won by guillotine choke. You look at a guy like Josh, who is on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC and lost by guillotine choke his last fight. You kind of see what they're doing here. They're trying to build a contender series guy up. But like I said, I have Dumas winning, most likely by finish, standing up. But there is kind of a weird scenario in my mind. Josh King win this fight by decision or sub.
Yeah, man. I think we both are in 100% agreement on this fight. Not only with the winner, but how both guys need to win this fight. So we'll see.
All right, moving up the card, we have Raphael Assunção taking on Davey Grant.
I see this being a striking heavy matchup, but I'm going with Grant by decision or late stoppage. Assunção is a veteran. He's been around for a while, but he's been stopped in 4 of his last 5 fights. Grant has improved with every fight. I think he'll be a little too much for Assunção. Uh, I think I see him having his way on his feet and probably catching Assunção and getting him out of there. I'm leaning towards more, you know, when I was looking at this fight originally, I was going with Grant by decision. But the more I looked into this fight, I'm going with Grant by stoppage, man. Like I said, the Sun's a veteran, but he's been stopped in 4 of his last 5. Um, Grant's improved with every fight he's had here as of late. So um, I don't see him slowing down here. Um, I just uh, think it'll be a little too much for us on stuff.
Yeah, on paper it seems like a close fight, but when you look at, the film, Grant, a lot of people don't know this, but he started off, you know, as more of a ground guy and then kind of developed this striker later on in the UFC, well, before he got to the UFC when he was an Ultimate Fighter. And then Sunsao, man, if you're an OG fan, you remember Sunsao way back in the day in the W.
Absolutely.
And he had one of the longest UFC win streaks without ever getting the title shot. You know what I mean? But fast forward now, he's 40 years old. He's on a losing streak. No, he beat Victor Henry, but before that was on a losing streak. Um, Not really known to have like super like explosive power in his hands, but known to just do enough to win, just be super technical guy. With Davy Grant, man, he has an impressive resume, man. Like he's beat Marlon Vera. Uh, he even though Marlon Vera came back and rematched him, and beat him, he still has a win over Marlon Vera. He has wins over Jonathan Martinez, who's also on this card. He actually knocked him out. So that lets you know the kind of striking this guy's got. He's got really good
Yeah.
low kicks as well, and he's not a slouch when it comes to grappling. So Davy Grant is a lock for me. I feel like since how his better fights have left him, man. And I think Grant, even though Grant's 37, he's still putting on pretty solid performances. So I got to go with Grant on
Yeah.
this.
I agree. And before we move on, when I saw this fight on paper, like you mentioned, you hit the nail on the head. I'm thinking Raphael Assunção, WEC, the earlier UFC days. I'm like, man, Assunção can cause some problems. But when you look a little deeper, like you said, I think his better days behind him. Mad respect for Assunção, man. He's been so fun to watch throughout his career. But his better days are behind him. And you look at David Grant, like you said, knocked out Jonathan Martinez, and we just broke down Jonathan Martinez for you guys. Said how good of a striker he is, and how he can cause problems on the feet. And David Grant took care of that, ate his lunch. So uh, to me, the writing's on the wall. Hey, but like we said, the Sunshine is a veteran. So maybe he got a few tricks up his sleeve that could cause some problems. But I see Grant having his way and getting a stop this year.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, moving up the card, heavyweight fight. We have Łukasz Brzeski taking on Carl Williams.
Uh, I got Carl Williams by decision. I think his boxing will be the difference in this fight. Uh, he relies heavily on his boxing. You know, if you go back and you watch his fight, he's more of just not even just a striker, just a boxer. Um, I see him catching Brzeski early, getting his attention and slowing down as the fight goes on. If you look at Carl Williams, he doesn't have huge power and he doesn't have the best cardio either. But I think early on he'll be able to catch it. I think when the fight starts, he'll be able to catch him with a couple decent shots, uh, get his attention, and that'll allow him to just settle in and slow the fight down. If he needs to slow down, I think that'll allow him to slow it down and fight at this pace. And I see him getting the decision victory. I see this fight kind of being a little not a snooze fest, but just a slow paced fight. You know, both guys landing a couple shots. But like I said, I see Carl Williams' boxing being a difference, and I think that'll get him to a decision victory.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, Brzeski coming into this fight is definitely gonna be the bigger heavyweight. But when I'm watching Brzeski in his fights, he's one of these guys who can give it, but not so much take it. So like when he's getting punched, you'll see him do a lot of things out of character. And I think a guy like Carl Williams, man, he can. I feel like in this particular fight, he'll be able to go wherever the fight, takes him. He'll be able to win standing up. He'll be able to win on the ground. I think wherever the fight is, he's pretty much in control on this one. Like I said, he will be the smaller fighter, but I mean, the thing that I seen to beat Williams would be Brzeski taking him down, and I just don't feel like he'll be able to get him down.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
and
I
that
agree.
was the the denominator on this fight. He was, we talked about it before we aired this episode. We were very close to picking him as a lot. We picked Grant instead, but that's how big we are on this pick. Yep.
Yeah,
Moving up the card, we got Victor Petrino taking on Anton Turkalj.
yeah, man. Really interesting fight right here. You got both guys that are contender series veterans. Um, both guys. Um, uh, both guys contender series veterans. The biggest thing for me is I'm leaning towards Petrino, uh, and his knockout power, man, and his knockout power and his physicality. Um, Another tough fight to pick though. If uh, if if Trick, man, help me out with the
Turkalj.
last name. Turkalj, yeah. If Turkalj wants to win, he's got to make this a definite match, man. Whoever establishes their game plan is gonna win. Like I said, if Turkalj wants to win, sorry for butchering that name, but if Turkalj wants to win, he's got to get inside, get his hands on uh Petrino, and make it a grappling match. Because if not, I think the power will be too much for him. So it's gonna boil down to who can establish a game plan once again, man. Uh, but I gotta go with Gino Bakeo in this one.
No doubt, no doubt. This was a fight, I was kind of on the fence. And after talking to my boy Harley, man, he convinced me to
Yeah,
definitely go with Petrino. The one thing I was looking at with Anton to win this fight was his grappling, but Anton doesn't have the best wrestling in his fights. And when I'm looking at a guy like Petrino, who did get taken down in his contender series fight, his ability to show that he was able to get up. The thing that impressed me with Anton, though, is when he fought Jailton Almeida. I know Jailton Almeida, did whatever he did to him, but his ability to survive and his grappling, really impressed me. So that's why it was such a hard pick. But, like I said, after get with my advisor here, Harley, man. He let me know the right
Yeah,
place,
man.
Petrino. And
You
yeah, I'm
don't
with
rule
him. I
out.
think Petrino is able to, if he does get taken down, get back up, stuff takedowns, and eventually gets a stoppage.
Yeah, man. You don't rule out. Got your best interest, bro.
This is
Give
true,
me
man.
something to holler at. Mhm.
All right, moving up to the card, Saeed Nurmagomedov taking off with Jonathan Martinez.
Really fun fight here. Another tough fight to call. Striking heavy matchup to me in this fight. Both guys like to strike, but I gotta go with Saeed by submission. I know he's not a submission expert. You know, you hear the Nurmagomedov and you ultimately think Khabib and all of those guys. With Saeed, he likes to rely on his striking for the most part, but I I see him pulling off a sub in this. I do. Uh, I think he's a little more well-rounded. He's got a couple more ways to win. Uh, but like I said, Jonathan Martinez is super dangerous on his feet. He could outstrike the Magomedov on his Guido victory. Um, so wouldn't surprise me if either guy wins this one. I just got to go with Saeed. And ultimately, he's got some grappling in him somewhere. Uh, so I think he'll be able to get a sub in this. Not my most confident pick, but I'm gonna go with Saeed.
No doubt. So Saeed is a guy we broke down not too long ago, probably like late last year. When you
Mhm.
see the name, you would think, wrestler, but he looks to strike first in every fight. And the submissions he's getting is guys shooting on him because of his pressure, and he's locking up guillotines. With Martinez, he's not a wrestler. He's not known to shoot at all. He's a stand-up fighter. And I just see the fight being a kickboxing fight with 4 ounce gloves on. Saeed does tend to kind of slow down in the later round. And Martinez is a calf kicker. He's going to take out your leg. So looking at this fight, it's going to be close standing up. But when I'm seeing a guy fade and I'm seeing Martinez really heavy on low kicks, I think he's going to take out the leg. I think the fight's going to slow down and Martinez is going to eventually win it. Probably a decision on this fight.
Yeah, I can see that. Close fight.
All right. Moving up the card, Ricardo Ramos versus Austin Lingo.
I gotta go with Ramos by TKO. He's far the better position and more well-rounded, more experienced guy. Lingo's got a couple wins, but he hasn't fought or beaten the best guys, man. I think Ramos is just a level above Lingo. Not much else for me to break down here, man. I don't want to sound like I'm riding off Lingo, but I'm heavy on Ramos in this one, and I see him getting a stoppage victory.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. He's actually one of our locks. Ramos out of Team Alpha Male, man. He's coming off a nice spinning elbow finish. He does have losses into the UFC, but it's over some of the best guys, man. He's lost to a guy we just broke down, Nurmagomedov, Leroy Murphy. I mean, he's only losing to those type of guys who are about to crack, or if not, or in the top 15. You look at a guy like Austin Lingo. I don't think he's fought for quite a while. He's had a lot of scheduled fights, and for whatever reason, had to pull out. So it's been quite a while. Ramos is probably one of the, next to Bautista, probably the biggest favorite on the card. And yeah, there's a reason, man. Ramos is probably just better in almost damn near every aspect when it comes to this fight. Austin Lingo is going to look to put pressure, and I think with pressure, he's going to leave himself open for a counter, and Ramos takes it.
Yeah, man, I agree.
No doubt, no doubt. In a fight that we already broke this down. Nikito Krylov, Ryan Spann. What you got on this fight? Has anything changed?
No, man. Fun. Hey, well, another fight can still go either way. Like you said, we already fully broke it down on a couple weeks ago, or hell, was it supposed to be? I don't remember when it was supposed to be. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. But yeah, I'm going with Span by KO. Um, could see it going either way. Very entertaining fight. Both guys have knockout power. Uh, and Krylov is really dangerous on the ground as well. But I see Stan catching him on the feet and getting a finish. Krylov gets reckless on the feet at times and rushes in. I feel like that'll cost him in this fight against Stan. Uh, I think Krylov's going to come out, put a lot of pressure on Stan, and then Stan can weather that early storm. I see him uh, catching him probably with a counter shot coming in. Um, but like I said, both guys have real knockout power. Um, eh, Krylov, Krylov will be the better grappler, but Stan pulled off some submissions as well. So really tough fight to call, but I'm going with Stan to catch him uh, with a counter shot. Man, I see Stan catching him and getting the victory.
Yeah, my pick hasn't changed, although it is concerning knowing that Krylov pulled out due to illness like 2 weeks ago, and now he's fighting. But it's always been a close fight in my mind. It's really can Span, stuff to take down, keep him at range and land his strikes because he doesn't need that many strikes to finish Krylov. And can Krylov get him to the ground and do what he's been doing to everybody else? Just, winning the fights on the ground, weathering the storm. I feel like Krylov, you know, has proved against top competition that he can do that. And with Span, is still a little bit of there's still a little bit of inconsistency. And we'll see. I feel like this is a good test for Span, but ultimately I'm gonna go with same pick from 2 weeks ago, Krylov to win on the ground either by decision or sub.
Absolutely. And this is a big step up for Stan. It really is. And if Stan wins, it's going to open up a lot of eyes and open some doors for some big fights here in the near future for him. So, uh, really, really interested to see this fight. It's going to be a fun one.
No doubt. Moving up the card, we have Alexander Volkov taking on Alexander Romanov in the co-main event.
Man, really tough fight to call here. Really, 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 really. I'm going to tell you right now, this is my least confident pick right here. Another extremely tough fight to call, but I'm going to go with Volkov. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Volkov by decision. I see his striking being the difference, but Romanov is a really good grappler. Like I mentioned already, this fight could go either way. Um, Romanov's grappling could very easily get him the win. I see Volkov having success on the feet uh, early, and that being the difference. But if Romanov gets to the ground, he'll win. So like I said, toss up fight for me. It truly go either way. I wouldn't bet on this fight, but I'm gonna go with Romanov by decision.
You got Volkov or you got Romanov?
I'm sorry, Volkov. By decision.
Gotcha. I just a little confusing. They got the same, almost damn near same name,
Yeah.
same first name. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. With this pick, man, it's not a matter if, and this is all my opinion, but it's not a matter like if Volkov's gonna get taken down. I feel like he's definitely gonna get taken down. It's a matter of can Romanov's gas tank keep it up? Because last time he fought, I know it was that elevation. But versus Tibera, he put on a super dominant first round and then just started to fade. Um, but up until the fights past then, he looked very good. Cardio held up, all that. Volkov, him getting out wrestled by Tom Aspinall, kind of concerning. Um, Previous fights, him just being on his back and not be able to get up, kind of concerning. I think Volkov's path to victory is just, weathering the storm for the first round, maybe half the second round, and then, he's got to catch him standing up. There's no like ifs about that. He's got to catch him, but definitely going with
Yeah.
Romanov in either stoppage on the ground or decision.
Gotcha.
All right, moving up to the main event. Peter Yan facing off with Merab, who got on this fight.
Yeah. I'm like you, Merab. I start with the last name too. I feel so bad when I butcher her last name. Say Any chance I get tonight, butcher a name, I'm gonna take it. With that being said, I'm going with Jan. But both guys are really talented. Both guys are fun to watch. I just think Jan's more well-rounded. Plus, he's got that big fight experience. You know, former world champion, obviously. Done seen it all. He's fought uh, really the who's who. Um, Jan striking is going to be the difference for me, the biggest difference for me. If Merab wants to win, he's got to slow the fight down, try to keep the fight, maybe try to keep Jan against the cage, you know, press him against the cage, uh, in a clinch, uh, close the distance, mixing some takedowns, things of that nature. Uh, but I see Jan being a little too much for him, and ultimately his striking taking over. I don't see either guy getting a stop in this one, but I got to go with Jan by decision. You know, used to those big fights, fought the who's who, former world champion, fought multiple 5 round fights. You know, you look at his last fight against Sean O'Malley, uh, could have easily won that fight. A lot of people thought that he did win that fight. Super close fight. So I mean, even in his losses, I mean, it's not like he really lost a step. You know, if that makes sense. And I think this fight will get Jan back on track, and I look for him to make a push at that title again, man, eventually.
Yeah, man. We're running a little short on time, so I'm gonna make this super quick. Definitely got Jan, but this is a tricky fight because if you think about it, his teammate, on paper beat Jan, had 2 full camps for Jan, and that's Aljamain Sterling. So the camp is super familiar with Jan, but Jan is super familiar with this matchup. And even when the losses to Sterling, it was close. The O'Malley loss was close. Jan can still easily be champ right now if there's different judges. You know what I mean? So I feel like Merab's just gonna be a little too small. Jan's gonna be a little more stronger, and be able to fight those takedowns. If Aldo can like stop the takedowns in the back half of his career, I feel like Jan can do that, and I see Jan ultimately probably getting a stoppage in this. Mirage was super close to finishing Merab, and I feel like Jan's striking is better than Mirage, so that's my pick on that. Real quick, we're gonna give you the lock parlay. We have JJ Aldrich. We got her as a lock. Mario Bautista got him as a lock. Ricardo Ramos got him as a lock. And then Davey Grant got him as a lock. So 4 leg parlay at plus 179 as of now. That damn near almost doubles your money. And all we're asking is that you support us and subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and comment your picks if you agree or disagree with us. Before we head out, Harley, you got anything?
Oh yeah, man. Real quick, the third leg kind of cut out on my end. So what's the third? Tell him the third on the parlay.
Davey Grant.
Okay, yeah. So there's our parlay, guys. Thanks again for watching. Like we say, like and subscribe to the video, to the channel. Follow us on social media, and check us out. We'll have bonus parlays on our social media as well. Until then, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.